Testing, testing.
Hello, teams with our varsity softball players tonight. Let's give them a round of applause. Up first, we have our 8U Diamond Divas, coached by Coach Crystal, Coach Jess, Coach Twist, and our Lady Dog number 12, Yana Amy. For varsity, we also have Garen, Tanasia, Rayleigh, and Jordan. Up next, we have our 10U Sassy Sluggers, coached by Heather, Chris, and Tina. We also have our varsity softball players, Chloe Wood, Brinley Braddock, and Madeline Loftus. And our honorary softball T-baller, Mia Haskins. Up next, we have our 12U Jefferson Elite, coached by Rebecca Durden, Caleb Biddy, and our number 24 varsity Lady Bulldog, Janai Goins and James Haskins. We also have accompanying the Jefferson Elite, Soraya Durden and Maddie Cooner. Last but not least, we have our 15U Jefferson Lady Dogs. They'll be playing for the varsity Lady Dogs next year. Up first, we have our varsity players, Carly Long. Candaces are Candace Powell. Coaches are Candace Powell, Paola Bautista, and Vanessa Bautista. We also have our varsity players, Kira Long, JC Cooner, and Aaliyah Gray, accompanying our 15U Lady Bulldogs. Ladies, look up here and get your picture taken. Give me your best cheese. Let me see them teeth. Their games start this Monday, April the 6th at Kellyville. Most of these kids on the varsity team played at Kellyville also. So let's give all of our Jefferson lady softball players a big round of applause. Thanks for coming today, girls.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's softball contest between the visiting Harmony Lady Eagles and your Jefferson Lady Bulldogs. This game is being conducted accordingly to the rules and regulations of the University Interscholastic League. Your attendance in support of the student athletes and coaches is appreciated, and though both teams are rivals, they are expected to exhibit the qualities of good sportsmanship throughout the contest, and the administration of both schools requests to stay from all games. Now let's meet the players in tonight's game. The reserves for the Lady Eagles are number 3, Ross Hightown, number 11, Phoebe Shaw, playing center field, number 2, Emma Blackstone. Batting second, playing shortstop, number 9, Cara Schoen. Batting third, pitching, number 15, Kylie Seorn. Batting fourth, playing third, number 8, Avery Hogue. Batting fifth, catching, number 12, Evie Helpstein. Batting sixth, playing first, number 13, Lainey LaFleur. Batting seventh, playing right field, number 7, Lily Evanston. Batting eighth, playing designated player, number 1, Mason Rowe. Batting ninth, playing left field, number 4, Noel Edge. In the flex position, playing second, number 5, Allie Moore. The Lady Eagles are coached by Sherry Seorn, Stephanie McNeil, Adam House. Leading off with the Jefferson team, playing center, number 9, Maddie Cooner. Batting second, pitching, number 11, Carly Long. Batting third, playing second base, number 5, Rayleigh Gold. Batting fourth, playing first base, number 10, JC Cooner. Batting fifth, playing shortstop, number 2, Chloe Wood. Batting sixth, playing third base, number 3, Tony Braddock. Batting seventh, playing catching, number 24, Janai Gomes. Batting eighth, playing right field, number 1, Soraya Durden. Batting ninth, playing designated player, number 12, Mariana Amy. In the flex position, playing left field, number 6, Aaliyah Gray. The reserves for the Lady Dogs are number 4, Kira Long. Number 7, Gabby Peterson. Number 13, Jordan Dow. Number 15, Tanasia Alexander. Number 25, Maddie Leffers. Now to honor America, please stand and join the playing of our national anthem. Play ball.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bulldogs Ladies Softball on Bulldogs TV. We're bringing you tonight's game, Jefferson versus Harmony, right here from Jefferson High School. The teams have been introduced. The national anthem has been played. Play ball has been given. Teams are taking their final warm-up tosses. Pitcher on the mound. Pitching tonight for the Lady Bulldogs, Carly Long, number 11. Bulldogs come into tonight's game with a 3-3 record in district. Harmony is right behind with a 2-4 record. So this game is important to both teams. And as a matter of fact, Bulldogs are third place in district. We will see how many teams go to the playoffs. So for both teams, this is an important game. Ball's called in. So here comes the final warm-up toss from Carly Long. Catcher throws to second base. A toss that would have gotten the runner out. So here we go. The first batter up for the Harmony Eagles, the center fielder, number 2, Emma Blackstone. The wind is blowing out tonight, and the flag is almost straight out. There's been some weather to the east, but like I say, it just means that the wind is blowing out. We'll see if that affects any hits tonight. Here comes Carly Long's first pitch. Swing and a miss. That's strike 1. And Emma steps back in. Here comes Carly Long's pitch. And that's popped up in the air. Shortstop calls for it and makes the catch for out number 1. Chloe Wood made the first put out for the Bulldogs. Here comes the second batter, Kara Shun. There's a ball high. 1-0. So here comes the next pitch from Carly Long. And there's a sharp grounder to the shortstop. She makes the put out. 6-3 on that put out. And that brings us to the pitcher, number 15, Kylie Seahorn, batting for the Harmony Eagles. Taking her time getting into the batter's box. Now she steps in. And Long winds up. Here's the pitch. And that one's fouled out of play. And so that foul ball simply goes for strike 1. And another foul ball called. Brindley Braddock stepped across the foul line to field that. And the umpire, once that ball went across the line, immediately called foul. So Kylie Seahorn has an 0-2 count. Here comes the wind and the pitch. That one's fouled back. Count remains 0-2 to Kylie Seahorn. It's the top of the first. There's 2 outs. Bulldogs looking to get out of the inning quickly. And Long steps on the pitcher's mound. Here comes the pitch. In the dirt. That'll be ball 1. One and 2 count to Kylie Seahorn. Long steps on the pitcher's rubber. Here's the pitch. Outside and low. Ball 2. Now 2-2. Back in one more time. Here comes the pitch. And another foul ball. Count remains 2-2. comes the pitch. Inside. Brings us to a 3-2, full count. Seahorn trying to find a way to get on base. And she takes a high pitch, ball 4. Seahorn gets a walk. Brings up our next batter, number 8, Avery Hogue. She's playing third base for the Eagles tonight. Umpire getting some additional softballs, as Seahorn fouled off several. Carly Long winds up and pitches inside for ball 1. Seahorn stays at first. Bulldogs in defensive positions. That one's fouled. Strike 1. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And that ends the top of the first. The Eagles got a walk and nothing else. So we'll go to the bottom of the first. Bulldogs are going to send Maddie Cooner, Carly Long, and Rayleigh Gulk to the plate. We'll be right back.
I think it's supposed to be 3 down here. Pushed in real good,
And here we go, bottom of the first. Lady Bulldogs coming up for the first time.
Maddie Cooner.
Left fielder number 9, Maddie Cooner, coming up for the Bulldogs. Eagles having a quick chat at the mound. They break it up, and we are ready to go. Bulldogs have been scoring some runs, so let's see if we can get some here. And ball 1. Cooner with a sharp eye up there at the plate, takes one that's not in the strike zone. Here comes the next pitch. There's strike 1. Ball well outside. 2-1. Cooner may wait and see if Seahorn is just going to put her on. Here's the pitch. That one's up in the air. It's going foul, and nobody got to it. So Cooner now faces a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. And she takes a practice swing. Two and two. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and she strikes out. Our next batter is the pitcher, number 11, Carly Long. There's a ball. 1-0 is the count. And Seahorn gets ready to pitch. Here it comes. Called strike. 1-1. Painted the corner with that one. Long steps back in. Here's the pitch. And fouled away. Out of play. 1-2 now to Carly Long. Seahorn ready to pitch. Here it comes. In the dirt. 2-2 is the count now. Long steps back in. Seahorn steps up. She's ready to pitch. Here it comes, the 2-2 count. In the dirt, that'll be ball 3. Full count now to Carly Long. Umpire says it's 2-2. And there's a solid hit off the wall. She's going to pull into second with a double. Big hit by Carly Long. Just slammed it off the left center field wall.
Number 5, really good.
So now, 1 out, runner on second. Rayleigh Gulk looking to get a hold of one here and drive in a run. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Bulldogs with a runner in scoring position. Here comes the pitch. And a ground ball right up the middle, and it's through to the outfield. Here it comes Long, coming for home. The ball gets past the center fielder, and we've got a runner again on second. Rayleigh Gulk hits a single right up the middle. And
Number 10, J.C. Cooner.
center fielder missed fielding it, and so Rayleigh got to second. Carly Long comes around to score. Bulldogs lead 1-0 now. J.C. Cooner steps in. She's got a runner in scoring position, looking to get some wood on the ball. Inside, ball 1. So the Bulldogs get off to an early lead. And looking for more. Only one out, runner on second. Here's the pitch. Ball outside and low. 2-0 to J.C. Cooner. Chloe Wood is on deck for the Bulldogs. Seahorn brings the pitch. And there's a ground ball to second base. And gets thrown away. And Gulk takes that throwing error and makes another run.
Number 2, Chloe Wood.
Error on second baseman on that throw. Lets J.C. Cooner get to second base. We still only have one out. The Bulldogs have 2 runs here in the bottom of the first. Chloe Wood steps up, looking to get another RBI. Here's the pitch. Low, ball 1. Good umpire here. He calls where it is. Here comes the pitch. Way outside. Ball 2. 2-0 to Chloe Wood. And getting ready for the pitch. Here it comes. In the dirt. And that's going to let J.C. Cooner get to third base. Huh?
It was a ball.
3-0 to Chloe Wood. Ball high. No, he called it a strike. 3-1 now to Chloe Wood. Seahorn brings the next pitch. That one's fouled away. Makes it a full count. 3-2. Three and 2 to Chloe Wood. Here comes the payoff pitch. Foul ball. So the count remains full at 3-2. Runner on third, 1 out. Brindley Braddock on deck. But here comes the pitch. And there's a walk. Ball 4.
Number 3, Brindley Braddock.
So at this point, Seahorn has 1 strikeout and 1 walk. Brindley Braddock, the batter. She's got runners on the corners. Wood, no lead off there. Ball is up in the air. Caught by the left fielder. After tagging up, the runners advance. And J.C. Cooner comes home with the 3rd run of the inning for the Bulldogs.
Number 24, Jenna Goins.
So, Janai Goins steps in. She's got a runner on second with 2 outs here in the first inning. Bulldogs looking to keep their rally going. There's a ball outside. No, he called it a strike. It doesn't matter what I call, it's what the umpire calls. Here comes the pitch. That one's way outside. Wood was looking to move to third, but didn't quite do it. Now, softball rules, they have to stay on the base until the ball gets to the plate. There's a ground ball. Oh, collision. And that's going to cause the runner to be out. Wood runs into the shortstop and gets called out.
Shortstop was already there in the field. Chloe should have gone around her, but she interfered with fielding the ball, so Varsity did not appeal.
And here we go. Top of the second inning. Bulldogs take a 3-0 lead in the first. Carly Long pitching a great game so far. Here comes the pitch. Inside. Evie Helpenstill's the batter. She's got a 1-0 count right now. Here comes the next pitch. And that one is foul right down the third base line. Just inside, just outside the bag, I should say. And so that foul ball simply makes it 1-1. Helpenstill steps in. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike two. Carly comes in looking for a strikeout now. Up in the air. And second baseman settles under it and gets it. So Evie Helpenstill flies out. One out here in the top of the second. Lainey LaFleur, number 13, steps in for the Eagles. Here's the pitch. Foul back. Strike one. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. And that's a ball. 1-1. Carly Long steps in. Here's the pitch. Ball low. 2-1 now. Lainey LaFleur, the Eagles' first baseman, faced with a 2-1 count. There's one out, nobody on. Here comes Carly Long's pitch. Fouled away. That'll be strike two. LaFleur steps in with a 2-2 count. One out. Here comes the pitch from Carly Long. And that's a ball, 3-2. Full count. Here comes the pitch. Ball high, and she'll take a base on balls. Second walk given up by Carly Long. It'll bring up Lily helping still. Right fielder, number 7. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Adjusting something on her uniform. Steps back in. Here comes the pitch. And a bunt shown. Ball outside. That'll make it 1-1. No, I'm sorry. Umpire sounded like he called it a ball, but he did not. That's a 0-2 count now. So here comes the pitch. And painted the corner for the strikeout. Caught her looking. Makes 2 outs now. Marcy Hogue, designated player. And she steps out while Long is looking at her wristband. She's got one of those wristbands with things written on it. Here's the pitch. And ball high. 1-0 to Lily helping still. It's Lainey LaFleur. I'm sorry, Marcy Hogue is the batter. And there's a swing and a miss, strike 1. 2 outs, runner on first. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1-2 count now to Marcy Hogue. Carly Long brings the pitch. Struck her out. And that'll end the inning. The Bulldogs maintain a 3-0 lead. This is Lady Bulldogs softball. Bulldogs TV on YouTube. We are back here at Jefferson High School. The Lady Bulldogs lead 3-0 coming to the bottom of the second.
Number 1, Soraya Durden.
Soraya Durden, the right fielder, steps in. Here comes the pitch. Ball 1. Here's the pitch from Seahorn. Swing and a miss, strike 2. I'm sorry, strike 1. One and one count now. Here comes the pitch. That's popped up. Going foul. That'll make it 1 and 2. Outfield slightly past halfway. Here comes the pitch from Seahorn to Durden. And umpire calls that one a ball. 2 and 2. Sorry, I'm waiting for the pitch. And here it comes. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Number 12, Mariana, Amy.
The designated player, number 12, Mariana Amy. Here comes the pitch. Strike called. There's one out here in the bottom of the second. Here comes the pitch. Ground ball right back to the pitcher. That's going to be the second out. Score that one 1-3 if you're keeping score at home. Otherwise, we've got 2 outs in the inning. Back to the top of the order, and Maddie Cooner. Cooner struck out her first time up, so she's looking for a base hit here. Outfield is well back. Ball 1. Here's the pitch. High and outside. Ball 2. Well ahead in the count now. Maddie can wait for a ball that she wants. Here comes the pitch. Inside, 3-0. No, he called us. Nope, ball 3. Here comes the pitch. Right down the middle. Strike 1. Cooner was looking to walk to first base. She's going to have to hit her way on. Here comes the pitch. And there's a shot off the third baseman's glove, so Cooner is on. So one runner reaches base here for the Bulldogs. Now up the pitcher, number 11, Carly Long. 2 outs and a runner on first. Carly doubled and scored last time up. She hit it a long way off the wall. We will see if she can get it just a little bit farther. The wind is blowing out to left field. There's a pop foul, out of play. 1-1. So Carly steps back in. She's got a runner on first. Here's the pitch. Outside, runner thought about going. Throw down to first, and she got back in time. Cooner. Safe at first. 1-2 count. She keeps showing that she wants to go. This time the catcher didn't throw. But the count is 2-2 to Carly Long. We will see whether they throw to Carly or try to get the runner out. And Carly puts it way in the air. Foul, out of play. So the count remains 2-2 to Carly Long. She's got a runner on first and wants to move her around. And she's got the bat to do it. Just needs to straighten it out a little bit. As I said, her first time up, she hit one off the wall in left center. So let's see what happens here. The pitch, and she fouls another one off. She is putting them over the backstop. She may break something if she doesn't stop that. Actually, here at Jefferson softball field, there's nothing but trees back there, so she's not going to break anything. 2-2 to Carly Long. Maddie Cooner's on first. And that one's up in the air. Foul, out of play. Still 2-2. Carly keeps fouling them off. In the meantime, Seahorn steps into pitch. Here's the pitch. Strike 3. The inning is over as Carly Long strikes out. This is Lady Bulldogs Softball, Bulldogs TV on YouTube. And here we go, top of the third. Bulldogs lead it 3-0. And the left fielder, Noel Edge, comes up. This is her first time at bat, so we'll see how she does tonight against Carly Long. Fouls one away, almost caught by Janae Goins. So now Edge has one strike against her. Carly steps up to the pitcher's mound. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. That'll be strike 2. Edge steps in with 2 strikes. And looks at strike 3. That'll bring us back to the top of the order now. Center fielder Emma Blackstone flew out to the shortstop her last time up. The Eagles have not hit anything deep tonight. In fact, they don't even have a base hit tonight. So here's the pitch from Carly Long, inside. They've only had 2 batters get to base, and both of those on walks. In the meantime, Carly Long has 4 strikeouts. Here comes the pitch. And a sharp one to third base. And Blackstone gets to first base. Ball bounced off the third baseman's glove. Shortstop fielded it, just didn't have time to get it over to first. So that's the first runner on by a hit for the Eagles. Brings up Kara Schoon. Grounded out to the shortstop her last time up. And stolen base. The Bulldogs charge the bunt. Want to know, she squares around the bunt again. Ball comes inside and touches her. So, Schoon gets a base on balls. Bulldogs coach has a question for the umpire. Wants to talk about something. Now the Eagles coach also talking about something. Umpires discussing the matter. And the umpire says it touched her on the elbow, or at least he pointed at his elbow like he was saying it touched her there. So, Kylie Sehorn, the pitcher, comes up. She's got 2 runners on. And there's one right. Oh, off the glove. A single to left field. Ball simply bounced off the left fielder's glove. Bases are now loaded with 1 out. Avery Hogue is the batter. Here comes the pitch. Inside. Ball 1. Umpire brushes off home plate so he can see it to make the calls. Hogue steps in with a 1-0 count. Here's the pitch, inside. Goins took a look down at third base, but the runner was not that far off. Hogue steps in. Ball high. 3-0 with no place to put Hogue. Carly Long steps in. There's a ground ball towards third base. They get the runner at third. 1 run scores. So Hogue reaches base on a fielder's choice. Blackstone scores. It's 3-1. Now up, Evie Helpenstill. Next batter comes up. Evie helping still. There was a ball. 2-0 to helping still. Here comes the pitch. And that's a ball. 3-0. Runners on first and second. I'm sorry, it's 2-1. The umpire didn't ring up the strike that last one, so we had it wrong. There's ball 3. Bulldogs made sure the runner did not go. 3-1 count to helping still. Here comes the pitch. That's ball 4. Loading up the bases. Next player up, Lainey LaFleur. She's got the bases loaded with 2 outs. Right back to the pitcher. She fumbles with it. Gets the force at home. No run scores. So that makes our score as we go towards the bottom of the third. Eagles 1, Bulldogs 3. This is Lady Bulldogs Softball, Bulldogs TV on YouTube. We are back for the bottom of the third. Lady Bulldogs leading 3-1 in this district game versus the Harmony Eagles. Bulldogs got 3 in the bottom of the first. The Eagles came back with 1 in the top of the third. So here come the Lady Bulldogs, bottom of the third, looking to put more on. Rayleigh Gulk, the batter. And that's a ball outside. Ball 1. Gulk steps back in. Waiting for the pitch from Seahorn. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. That'll be strike 1. Here comes the pitch. Fouled away. 1-2. Once again, the wind is blowing out tonight, and it's blowing pretty well. Flag is straight out. It was for a moment. Here comes the pitch. And there's a hit. Deep. And the right fielder just gets to it. Rayleigh Gulk with a long fly out. So that'll bring up J.C. Cooner. Cooner with the bases empty, 1 out. And she hits one right to the second baseman. So now Chloe Wood looking to get something started for the Bulldogs here in the third. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike one. Getting ready for the next pitch. Here it comes. And another foul ball. This one remained in play. The catcher got under it. And the inning is over, a 1-2-3 inning. And in the bottom of the fourth, the Bulldogs will send up Braddock, Goins, and Durden. But next we have Helpenstill, Hogue, and Edge for the Eagles. And here we go, top of the fourth. Bulldogs lead 3-1. Eagles send Lily Helpenstill to the plate, and she gets some wood on this one. It's up in the air and just out of play. J.C. Cooner followed that one all the way to the fence, ran out of room. It'll be strike one. So here comes the pitch. Another up in the air, but this one's in fair territory. And settled under by Soraya Durden. So we've got 1 out. Marcy Hogue will be the next batter for the Eagles. And the national anthem is being played for the baseball game. We will pause. And after the boys' baseball game, which is right next to the softball field here, they played the national anthem for the boys' game, and we stopped for it. Macy Hogue comes up for the Eagles. She bunts. Fielded by the pitcher and thrown out. Hogue out 1-3. Could not bunt her way on. So that makes 2 outs here in the top of the 4th for the Eagles. Brings up Noel Edge. Here's the pitch. And she kind of walks forward in the batter's box while she swings and misses. That'll be strike 1. Here comes the second pitch. And she takes that one. 1-1. Here comes the next pitch. And no sign from the umpire, which means he's called it a ball. 2-1. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. And ball 3. 3-1. Here comes the pitch from Carly Long. And that's ball 4. Noel Edge reaches on a walk. So that'll bring us to the top of the order for the Eagles, Emma Blackstone. She has flown out and reached base on a single, scored the Eagles' only run. Here comes the pitch, fielded in fair ground, thrown out. 6-3 for the out. That ends the 4th inning for the Eagles. 3-1, Bulldogs lead in the middle of the 4th. And we are back for the bottom of the 4th inning. Lady Bulldogs leading 3-1, looking to break this game open. Brinley Braddock, the third baseman who just made an outstanding fielding play, is up to start this inning off for the Bulldogs. Here's the pitch, way outside. Ball 1. Braddock flew out to left field her last time up. And there's another ball, 2-0. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. That's strike one. The wind has died down some. It's still blowing out slightly to left. Here's Brindley. And that'll be strike two. Painted the outside corner of the plate there. Brindley's gonna watch this one over. Here's the pitch. Swinging and a foul ball. If not for the fence, we'd have been fielding that one up here in the press box. Instead, it's just a 2-2 count. Outfield is playing deep for Brindley. That's way outside. Ball three. Full count to Brindley Braddock. Seahorn with the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. So Braddock strikes out, giving Seahorn her fourth strikeout for the night. Carly Long also has 4. Janae Goins batting left-handed. And Seahorn paints the corner on that one. Gets a strike called. This time, she watches it go just outside. 1-1. Goins hit into a fielder's choice last time, and a base running error ended the inning. So here comes Goins. Swings and fouls. It'll be strike two. Goins is another one who moves forward in the batter's box when she's swinging. Umpire lets us know the count is 1-2. Goins steps in. Seahorn gets to the mound. Here comes the pitch. Way outside. That'll be ball two. Two and two count. Here comes the pitch. Foul ball. Out of play. Still 2-2. One out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Here comes the pitch. Another foul. So the count remains 2-2. Goins looking to get on and start something here. There's one out in the inning. And waiting for the umpire's call. He calls it a ball. 3-2. Full count to Goins. She's looking for a way to get on here. She'll take a walk. There's a foul ball. Count remains full at 3-2. Seahorn steps up. Here comes the pitch to Goins. And she got a hold of that one, but it went foul. So we get ready for another payoff pitch to Janai Goins. And ball 4. Goins gets on with a base on balls. To our viewers in Salem, Alabama, welcome. We're glad you're here. Lady Bulldogs softball on YouTube. Hope you're enjoying the game. In the meantime, Sarai Durden is up. And the ball's going towards first, but Goins is back. One and 0 to Durden. Here comes the pitch, and a foul bunt. 1-1. Goins on first, 1 out. Here in the bottom of the 4th. Once again, setting the stage. 1 out, runner on first. Durden the batter. Goins on first. Here's the pitch. And that one is towards center field and fielded by the center fielder. Got a chance for a double play. No, Goins gets back. Durden flew out to center. Goins was running on it. Almost to second. Center fielder caught the ball. Threw it back to first base. Not in time to get Goins. So we've got 2 outs now here in the bottom of the 4th. And Marianne Amy swings and a miss, strike 1. Hit a ground ball to the pitcher her last time up. Amy's got a runner on first with 2 outs. Here comes the pitch. Inside. And ball hit the ground. Catcher did not field it cleanly. So, Goins gets to second. So now Amy's got a runner in scoring position that she can move along. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. One and 2. The Eagles battery gets instructions from the dugout. Here comes the pitch to Mariana Amy. High. Two and 2. 2 outs. Runner on second. Seahorn pitching to Amy. Swing and a miss at strike 3. So that ends the Bulldogs' 4th. Hey, and for those interested in space exploration, NASA has launched 4 astronauts this evening on their way to the moon. Artemis 2 is going to go around the moon and come back to Earth. Here we go, top of the 5th. And a swing and a miss to Kara Schoon. In the meantime, Carly Long is pitching a great game tonight. Here's the pitch. Ball high, 1-1. Here comes the pitch from Long. In the dirt, 2-1. Two and one, nobody out. First batter of the inning up, Kara Schoon. Here's the pitch, inside, 3-1. Here comes the pitch from Carly. And just over the head of the shortstop into center field. So there's a clean single by Kara Schoon. Gets to first base. Fielded cleanly out there by Maddie Cooner. And she got the ball back in quickly, so there was no chance for the runner to go to second. Seahorn hits it way up in the air, and J.C. Cooner settles under it, makes the out. So that leaves Schoon on first base with one out now. Carly Long pitches. Oh, that one gets away. And Schoon gets to second base. Meantime, Avery Hogue is the batter. And with that pitch, the count is 1-0. Runner is now on second, one out. So here comes the pitch from Carly Long. Right down to third base, looks the runner back, in a rundown. And base running error by Kara Schoon. She is out between second and third. She dared Chloe Wood to throw it to first so that she could go to third. I'm sorry. Dared Brindley Braddock to throw it to first. Instead, Braddock chased her back to second and put her out. Yeah, there was a strike. 0-1. Runner on first with two outs. And there's a sharp hit between the third baseman and the shortstop. Hogue gets to second. Bulldogs did an excellent job with the rundown there. And there's a sharp one to third base. And Bulldogs say that LaFleur turned towards second. Umpire says, no, she didn't. But Bulldogs made them stay honest. Bases are now loaded, two outs. Lily Helpenstiel, the batter, and the ball gets away. But No runners advance. Avery Hogue on third. Evie Helpin still on second. And Lainey LaFleur on first. Lily Helpin still. Hits one up in the air. It's out. Caught by the center fielder on the run. Great play by Maddie Cooner to put the side out. That ends the chance of scoring for the Eagles. Bulldogs get out of it with no runs allowed. So we go to the bottom of the fifth. The Bulldogs are leading 3-1. This is Lady Bulldogs Softball, Bulldogs TV on YouTube.
Great play, Maddie Cooner. Great play.
And the Lady Bulldogs come up. Bottom of the fifth inning. Top of the order, Maddie Cooner, who just made a great play in center field. Snuffing out an Eagles rally with a beautiful running catch there in center field. Now, she singled past the third baseman her last time up. Wind is blowing out towards left field. Maddie Cooner takes one outside. 1-0. Here comes the pitch. Takes. Umpire says that one was outside. 2-0. Seahorn walking around a little bit out there. Comes to the pitcher's mound now. Here's the pitch. And Cooner he gets that one. Oh, great play by the first baseman. Sticks her glove over the fence and catches it. So our next batter, pitcher Carly Long. Here comes the pitch. She gets some wood on that one, and it's a base hit into all the way to the wall. She's turned for second and gonna make it. Carly Long in with a double. Right there into right center. So Carly Long with one out gets herself in scoring position. Rayleigh Gulk singled and flown out tonight. She's looking for a base hit just like Carly got. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike one. Rayleigh scored in the first inning. And she's wanting to drive a run across and score this inning. So here, foul ball. 0-2 now to Rayleigh Gulk. Oh, and 2 to Rayleigh Gulk. Seahorn Ready to pitch. Here it comes. And there's a ground ball towards shortstop. And waiting for the umpires to say whether it was safe or not. They did call her out. So Carly gets to third base. Rayleigh Gulk is out. 6-3. J.C. Cooner, the batter. She's got a runner on third, 2 outs. Bulldogs looking for a 2-out rally. And that one was a ball. JC ready for the next pitch. Hits that one down the third base line. That's fair. And it's a base hit, scoring a run. Right down the third base line. It hits the third base bag and bounces into left field. And that scores Carly Long. Bulldogs go ahead 4-1. Chloe Wood now the batter. Ball called by the umpire. Chloe has reached on a walk and pop up to the catcher. That's strike one. Bulldogs dugout cheering as Chloe Wood has a 1-1 pitch. She gets on that one, and it's off the glove of the right fielder. Runners moving around and going for home and out at the plate. So Chloe Wood hits one well out into right field. And Bulldogs tried to grab a little too much. 4-1 after 5 innings. We are back at Jefferson High School. The Lady Bulldogs lead going into the 6th inning, 4-1. The Eagles will send up Macy Hogue, Noel Edge, and Emma Blackstone here. Hogue takes a called strike one. Timeout is called. And there's Goodwood on the ball. It drops into center field. Hogue reaches with a Texas League single. That brings up Noel Edge. Nobody out, runner on first. Edge moving forward in the batter's box, takes a call, strike one. So she'll step back in. And well outside, gets past the catcher. And Hogue goes to second. Does a head first slide, although the ball was not coming that way. Got to get that uniform dirty. Long, ready to pitch. Edge in the batter's box. Here's the pitch. And that one is fouled away over the screen. 1-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch. And that's another one fouled away. 1-2 to Noel Edge. She's got a runner on second that she's trying to move. Nobody out. Ball high. 2-2 now. It's the top of the sixth. Nobody out. Runner on second. Here comes the pitch. And that one's up in the air. It drops. Runner comes to third. And the batter goes to second. Hogue stopped at third. All the Bulldogs made sure she didn't go. Edge got to second. Top of the order, Emma Blackstone up for the Eagles. Grounded out to the shortstop her last time up. Here comes the pitch. That one is into center field. Run scores. So that makes our score 4-2. Hogue scores, Edge gets to third. Blackstone on first. Still nobody out here in the top of the sixth, and our score is now Eagles 2, Bulldogs 4. Next batter, Kara Schoon. And squares to bunt. Takes the pitch for a ball. Runner goes to second. So now runners on second and third. Schoon has a 1-0 count. Here comes the pitch. Ball high. 2-0. Here comes the pitch from Carly Long. Inside and high, 3-0. First base is empty. There's nobody out. Runners on second and third. One run has crossed the plate here in the sixth inning. Bulldogs don't want any more. Here comes the pitch. Umpire rings up a strike. 3-1 now. Kara Schoon stands back in. Carly Long gets on the pitcher's mound. Here comes the pitch. High, ball 4. That loads the bases. And the pitcher, Kylie Seahorn, coming up to bat. She's 1 for 3 tonight. Single to left. Flew out her last time up. Popped up to the first baseman. So here comes Carly Long with the bases loaded, nobody out. That's a ball low. No place to put Seahorn. If she's going to hit it, the Bulldogs want her to hit it on the ground. Long, ready to pitch. Here comes the pitch to Seahorn. That's up in the air. Out to right field. And right fielder Soraya Durden settled under that one and got it back in. So no runners advanced. Seahorn simply flies out to right. Once again, Edge is on third, Blackstone on second, Shun on first for the Eagles. Carly Long pitches to Avery Hogue. Get into a fielder's choice her last time up. Four to two, Bulldogs lead. Bases are loaded, one out. And there's a foul ball out of play. Here comes the pitch from Carly Long. Inside. Bounces away from the catcher just a few feet. No runners able to advance. 2-1 the count. Avery Hogue, the batter, facing Carly Long. Here comes the pitch. Called a ball. 3-1. 3-1 the count. One out, bases loaded. This is the top of the sixth. Here comes Carly Long's pitch. Umpire rings up a strike. 3-2 is the count. Full count, one out. Avery Hogue has the bases loaded. And she pops up, foul. Just out of the reach of the first baseman. So we'll come back to a full count. 3-2 to Avery Hogue. Bases loaded, one out, top of the sixth. Bulldogs lead 4-2. The sun is down and the wind has died down. Here comes Carly Long's pitch. Another foul. Three and two, one out. Long steps up. Hogue is in the batter's box. Here's the pitch. That's popped up. Lands in center field. One run across. Ball goes down to third base. So a single to center field. And another run gets across. So now it's 4-3. And manager comes out to talk to the pitcher and the rest of the infielders. They all gather around. Base runners have gathered around their coach. We've got a close game here. Bulldogs looking to get out of this inning with no more damage. 2 runs have scored, so it's 4-3, Bulldogs lead. Evie Helpenstiel will be the next batter. She's flown out, walked, and singled tonight. We will see what happens here. Bases loaded, 1 out. Evie Helpenstiel the batter. Here comes the pitch from Carly Long. Low for a ball. Getting ready for the pitch. Here it comes. Strike call. 1-1 now. One and one. 1 out. Bases loaded. Here comes the pitch from Carly Long. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Bulldogs defense at double play depth. Here comes the pitch. And she takes for a ball. 2-2. Yeah, the Bulldogs infield is pulled in now. They want to cut things off. And there's a sharp one between third and shortstop. 1 run scores. The game is tied. So Helpenstiel gets a single in the hole between short and third. Drives in a run, ties the game. There's still 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Long steps back up. Here comes the pitch. And there's a sharp one. Gets past the third baseman. 1 run across. 2 runs score. Lainey LaFleur gets 2 RBIs there. And the Eagles have erupted for a big inning here. Now Lily Helpenstiel steps in. Here's the pitch. That's going to be a ball. I did not see the umpire ring up a strike. 1-0. Here's the pitch. High and outside. Two and 0 to Helpenstiel. Carly Long. Winds and throws. That'll be ball 3. 3-0 now to Lily Helpenstiel. Third base is open. Runners first and second. Long winds, throws. Umpire calls a strike. 3-1. Helpenstiel has not reached base tonight. Struck out, flown out twice. Here's the pitch. Takes a called strike. Full count now. Third base coach talking to Lily Helpenstiel. Her sister is on second. Full count. Runners first and second. 1 out. And there's a sharp one. Gets past the shortstop. Fielded by the center fielder. in shallow center field. Bases are now loaded, 1 out. Macy Hogue, comes up for the second time this inning. She singled to center field her first time. And ball gets past the catcher. No runners advance. There's not a lot of space between home plate and the backstop here. The ball does get past the catcher and goes to the fence. The pitcher will be running to cover the plate. But here's the pitch. Up in the air. And right fielder catches it, throws it to home plate. Runners do not advance. Hogue flies out. This brings up Noel Edge. She doubled her last time up. Got one past the third baseman into left field. So here comes the pitch. Strike called. There are now 2 outs. The bases are loaded. The Eagles have gone ahead 6-4. Here comes Carly Long's pitch. And while walking forward, that hits her. Bulldogs want to challenge that call. The Bulldogs are going to say that she leaned into it. We're going to see. Umpires talking it over. We're going to see. Calls it safe. So that will walk a run across. Bulldogs do not agree with that call. They say she moved into it. Emma Blackstone comes up to the plate. Singled and scored her last time up. Here comes the pitch from Carly Long. There are 2 outs. 7-4 is now the score. Here comes the pitch from Carly Long. Hit sharply to third. Thrown across for the out. The Eagles come up with a big inning. They score 6 runs, making our score as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Eagles 7, Bulldogs 4. This is Lady Bulldogs Softball, Bulldogs TV on YouTube. we are back now for the bottom of the 6th inning. The Eagles had a big inning in the top of the 6th. They scored 6 and have taken the lead 7-4. Bulldogs will send up Brindley Braddock, Janai Goins, and Soraya Durden. After that, Mariana Amy. But right now it's Braddock up. Seahorn pitches. And Braddock hits one foul. The sun is now down, the lights are on. Here comes the pitch. Way outside. That'll be ball 1. Bulldogs looking to rally now. They need 3. They have 2 chances to do it. And here's the pitch. Way inside. She has to move to get away from it. Should be 2-1. Here comes the pitch. Called strike. 2-2. Braddock looking to get on here. Here comes the pitch. She gets some wood on that, but it's popped foul. Braddock with a 2-2 count. Here comes the pitch from Seahorn. Way outside. That's ball 3. Full count to Brindley Braddock. Swing and a miss at strike 3. It'll bring up Janai Goins. Catcher reached on a walk her last time up. So here comes the pitch from Seahorn. Way outside, ball 1. Goins steps in. Here, waiting on the pitch from Seahorn. Here it comes. Once again, way outside. That's ball 2. So there's 1 out, nobody on. Bulldogs. Goins gets one towards the shortstop. Fielded, but she beat it out. Goins uses her speed to reach on a single. That'll bring up Soraya Durden. With 1 out, she's got a chance to move the runner around. And the Bulldogs get ready to start a 6th inning rally. They're behind 7-4. So here comes Durden. Pitch. Takes for a strike. And Goins dares them to throw. They don't. Finally, she goes back to first base. Here comes the 0-1 to Durden. One. Here comes the pitch. She gets some wood on that one, but it's going foul. 1-2 to Soraya Durden. Mariana Amy on deck. 2-2. 1 out. Runner on first. Here comes the pitch to Durden. Way outside. 2-2. Goins daring them to throw down to first. She wants a chance to go to second. So here comes the pitch to Durden. Way outside. That's ball 3. Goins has them worried. And she's going to get to walk to second. Here comes the pitch to Durden. 3-2. 1 out. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And so 1 more out here in the 6th. But it's time for a 2-out rally. Marianne Amy. Takes high for a ball. 1-0. Seahorn steps up. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. That'll be strike 1. Seahorn ready. Amy ready. Here comes the pitch. Ball low. 2-1. 2-1 to Amy. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. That's strike 2. 2-2. Mariana Amy looking to move Goins around the bases here. Outfield is deep. Swing and a miss. That's strike 3, and the inning is over. Bulldogs on their last chance in the 7th will bring up the top of the order. Maddie Cooner, Carly Long, and Rayleigh Gulk. This is Lady Bulldogs Softball Bulldogs TV on YouTube. And we are back for the last inning. Eagles lead it 7-4. Kara Schoon, the batter, takes a strike. The Eagles will send up Schoon, Seaborn, and Hogue. Here comes Carly Long's pitch. Inside, 1-1. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And And that one was in the dirt. 2-2. Ball 3. Full count. Kara Shin. Here comes Carly Long's pitch. It's up in the air to center field. Settles under it, makes the catch. 1 out. Kylie Seahorn, the pitcher, flew out to right field her last time. Outfield is playing deep, especially at night. When you're in the outfield, you want to keep that ball in front of you because the lights can get a little tricky. First pitch was low, 1-0. Here comes the pitch. And it bounced in, 2-0. Carly winds up and pitches. Three and 0 to Kylie Seahorn. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. There's a one that gets the corner. 3-1. Long winds. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 4. Seahorn is on at first with a walk. That'll bring up Avery Hogue. Singled to center her last time up. Here comes the pitch. That was ball 1. Comes the 1-0. Ground ball to the pitcher. Get the out at first. Seaborn goes to second, but there's 2 outs. Next batter for the Eagles, Evie Helpenstill. And we are getting a pinch runner for Seahorn. It's going to be number 3. So Helpenstill steps in with 2 outs and a runner on second. Here comes the pitch. She hits a hard one to shortstop. That'll be it. Bulldogs get out of the inning. And now they need a big inning here. They trail 7-4 as they have one more shot at it. This is Lady Bulldogs Softball, Bulldogs TV on YouTube.
TV announcer.
Here we go. Last chance for the Bulldogs. Bottom of the 7th. They trail 7-4. So we're going to start with the top of the order, Maddie Cooner. And the Bulldogs are going to do everything they can to score at least 3. 4 would be really good. So here comes Maddie Cooner. Here's the pitch. Ball high, 1-0. Cooner waits for a good pitch. Here it comes now. Way outside, 2-0. This is what we need, the leadoff batter to get on base. A walk is perfectly fine here. Here comes the pitch from Seahorn. Outside, 3-0. Cooner looking to get on here. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. 3-1. So here comes the 3-1 pitch to Maddie Cooner. Right down the middle, umpire calls it a strike. She was hoping that one would not be a good one and she could just walk to first base, but now it's 3-2. She's got to protect that strike zone. Here's the pitch and foul back. Count remains 3-2. Maddie Cooner leading off the bottom of the 7th with the Bulldogs trailing 7-4. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Way inside, ball 4. Maddie Cooner is on. So the Bulldogs starting the rally now. Maddie Cooner gets to first base. Carly Long doubled and scored her last time up. So here comes Carly Long. Takes inside. That's ball 1. So she steps back in. Here comes the pitch. And foul ball down the third base line. One and one to Carly Long. Runner on first, nobody out. Outfield playing deep. Easily can drop a single right in front of them. That ball's in the dirt. Ball 2. Cooner just hoping that the ball gets past the catcher so she can run to second. Long steps up with a 2-1 count. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Here's the pitch. And fouled back. 2-2 now. Two and 2, the umpire announces. Runner on first. Nobody out. Carly Long steps in the batter's box. Here comes the pitch. Way outside. It'll fill up the count. 3-2. Long steps out of the batter's box. Mentally going through things, taking a couple of practice swings. Steps in. Seahorn ready to pitch. Here it comes. Slapped into left field. Over the left fielder's head, up against the wall. That's a long single. simply because Maddie Cooner thought it might have been caught. It was close to that player, so she couldn't just take off and running. But she's at second base. So now runners first and second. Rayleigh Gulk, the batter. Here comes the pitch. She gets some wood on the ball. That one's going foul. And over the fence. 0-1 to Rayleigh Gulk. Here comes the second pitch. Slapped right up the middle. Past the shortstop. And center fielder fumbles around on it. That brings a run across. Maddie Cooper gets home. Carly Long gets to second. And Rayleigh Gulk, with a seeing-eye single right up the middle, has made it 7-5. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the seventh. The Bulldogs are rallying. J.C. Cooner comes up now. And there's a foul out of play. Nobody out for J.C. here. She's got runners on first and second. Seahorn steps up, ready to pitch. 0-1. Way inside, that gets past the catcher, and the runners advance. Long to third, Gulk to second. That means the tie run is at second base. The winning run is at the plate. We need to get Gulk on base here. Cooner on base. So here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. That's strike two. Nobody out. Bottom of the seventh. Tie run is at second base. J.C. Cooner says, let me get in here. Seahorn winds and pitches. She lifts that one up in the air. Way back. Center fielder catches it, but the runners tag and move up. Score! A run for the Bulldogs. And Gulk gets to third. The tie run is at third base. Okay. Chloe Wood now the batter. Eagles coach comes out and talks to the pitcher and the infielders. The Bulldogs base runners gather up around their coach. Rayleigh Gulk is at third base. She is the tie run. Chloe Wood, the batter, singled to right her last time up. Bulldogs need this one. So Chloe Wood with the chance to tie up this game. There's one out. Seahorn taking her time. Winds, here comes the pitch. Inside, that's ball one to Chloe Wood. Rayleigh Gulk waiting for the opportunity to move from third to home. Seahorn steps to the pitcher's mound. Wood waiting. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. That's strike one. As I say, Wood singled her last time up. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And she gets some wood on that into center field. It drops. Tie game. Rayleigh Galt scores on the single to center field by Chloe Wood. We have a tie game with 1 out. Chloe Wood is on first base. That's the winning run on first base. Brindley Braddock, the batter. Here's the pitch. Oh, in the dirt, and it hits her. That will move Chloe Wood to second. The winning run is at second base. Brindley Braddock is at first base. The Eagles coach saying things to his players. Here comes the pitch. In the dirt, outside, but the catcher blocked it. Janai Goins, the batter, had a single her last time up. She outran it. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. She gets a ground ball to third. The third baseman missed it. Wood gets to third. Braddock gets to second. We have 1 out. The winning run is 90 feet away. At third base, Chloe Wood. Their coach is bringing the outfield in. Since there's 1 out, a deep ball would end the game no matter what. The outfielders would catch it, Wood would tag up and score. So the outfield is in. Here comes the pitch to Soraya Durden. Strike 1. Durden trying to make it the ball game right here. Wood at third base. 1 out. Count is 0-1. Here comes the pitch. And a foul ball. That's 0-2 now to Soraya Durden. We have a tie game, 7-7 here in the bottom of the 7th. This is the last inning, unless we're tied. So here comes the pitch to Soraya Durden. Way high. That's ball 1. Wood comes off the bag, dares them to throw it down, but no throw. Count is 1-2. Soraya Durden steps in. Bases are loaded. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's 2 outs. 2 outs. And Brianna Amy is the batter. She steps in. Bases are loaded. Swing and a miss. Wood comes off the bag, but no throw, no advance. Amy has an 0-1 count. She wants to do something with it here. Way high. That's ball 1. Seahorn. Got to be nervous out there. Ball game is on the line. It's 1-1. There's 2 outs. Way inside. 2-1. Amy is the 9th batter this inning for the Bulldogs. Bases are loaded. The winning run is at third. Way high. 3-1. Once again, Wood came off the bag and dared them to throw it down there to try and pick her off. No throw came. It's 3-1. A walk ends the game. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. That's strike 2. So, here's the ball game, potentially, right here. Full count. A walk ends the game. Bulldogs win. A base hit ends the game. Bulldogs win. an out, and we just go on to the 8th. Here's the pitch. Way high, that's ball 4. Bulldogs win. Bulldogs win. Bulldogs win. A walk-off walk. Chloe Wood goes from third to home, and the Bulldogs have come from behind with a huge last inning rally to win this one 8-7. Congratulations, Bulldogs. For the production crew, thank you very much for watching this exciting game on Bulldogs TV. Good night.